Okay, now we're going to talk about a subject that we really don't know that much about. Sex education. That was a good one, Phil. Is it good in school, sex education? Is it good, bad, or a waste of time? Now, people have asked themselves the same thing about this show, but I don't want to talk about that right now. Be that as it may, let's talk about it. Is sexual education the responsibility of the parents? Should the schools interfere?
No, you should learn it in the streets, like everything else. In the alleyways and the gutters and the cars of life, baby.
Well said by a black man. Now look.
The streets really have a bad rap. Will you stop?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just adding to you.
Point it to them.
Yes.
All right, let me ask you
Can I
this.
ask you, what do you mean by interfere? If you mean teach them absence, that's one thing. But if it's like your physics teacher taking you to the Capri Motel at 4 in the afternoon, and you're sitting on your face until Jeopardy comes on, that's, you know, maybe they should mind their business.
And, you know, I think abstinence is good. They should cover all that stuff, but like, you should definitely not preach abstinence. There's, you know, that should be taught as an option. But if you really preach it, that's when the kids go crazy with sex. Have you ever heard of Catholic girls?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, you should teach contraception and disease prevention and where to get good lube.
That's going in. Now we're talking about Catholic boys.
But I don't think parents really. I mean, like I said to my mommy, I said, "What does it mean when two people do it?" Yeah, mommy. When I was that big, I said, "What does it mean when two people do it?" And she said, "It means the macaroni and cheese is almost ready." I mean, they don't know what to say, you know.
I think that's a pretty good metaphor, actually.
There you go.
What about this? Okay, in England, this is a good statistic, and you're an English expert.
Yes.
Over 100,000 kids under the age of 16 are in a program encouraging them to experiment with oral sex instead of intercourse. Should we try that here?
The only thing, it's England you're talking about?
Yeah.
The only thing oral they should be encouraging is hygiene. I mean, you ever see a chick's teeth from Liverpool? Looks like the rough at Augusta National. Again, trying to get the joke out with 8 people.
He knows my girlfriend's from Liverpool.
I know, he knows your girlfriend's from Liverpool. That's a direct attack.
If they're going to teach oral sex, they ought to teach technique.
Look what
You know, but because every one of us has had we've all had a bad Hummer.
Yes.
That's true.
Amen.
This girl.
I forgot.
Let me tell you, if parents, when you say learn it in the streets, I'll tell you a true story. Maybe this will spark something. When I was like 10, this is the greatest thing of all time. My friend's father used to, and he only went with the hottest girls. He would have them strip them naked and have me and my friends fool around with them, like make out with them and feel them up and everything, you know? I swear to God. And I kept coming back like that night. My friends are like, "Hey, let's go watch what?" I'm gonna say, "You nuts," you know, we get like, "You're crazy." So I kept coming back and bothering them all night. And the next day, my father had to come pick me up, and he goes, "Your son's really interested in sex." And then it was like dead silence for me and my father for like the whole walk home. Nothing. So I mean, now do you think that was
moving?
Thank you.
I'm crying inside.
Thank you, Jim. Maybe you can get me one of those Lucille Lortel downtown theaters of yours. Do a quick one-man show at Barrow Street, you son of a bitch. Now look. But don't you think that was actually healthy? Not the part where I was ashamed of it, but the part where we're actually doing it. Don't you think a guy like that is...
So you're saying your best friend's father's helping you get laid at like 12? That's healthy?
Not laid at 10. He was letting us fool around with this. I'm saying, I'm telling you a story with the greatest man who ever lived.
Yeah, obviously.
How did you guys learn about sex? Anybody have a little anecdote?
I was lucky.
You were lucky? What happened?
I had 3 older sisters, so, you know, I was lucky because they were whores.
I was taught that, I mean, you know, my mom said that it had something to do with the man planting the seed, so sex for me was always associated with yard work.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I see a lawnmower and I go, "Oh my God."
That's right. How about you, fella?
I just had regular sex, man. I mean, nothing special. No thumbs in the butt and
I didn't ask.
If anybody has sex with you, if anybody has sex with you, they have to find your genitalia first.
Ooh.
Be easier to find the Lindbergh baby.
Way to keep it contemporary.
Yeah, great.
Lindbergh, baby. I'm the only one who gets that. Go ahead.
The only advice I got about sex from my dad, he said, you know, "Nick, sex is like pizza. Even when it's bad, you still got to pay for it."
Well put. I guess that's the end of the round. The center square today, Mr. Jim David.
Yes.
And we'll be right back after this. Folks. Oh! Thank you. There's been a lot of negative press about Armageddon. Nothing? But when this ancient prediction finally comes true sometime next week, it'll give us a rare opportunity to get right with God. You know, you might be meeting God sooner than you thought. So, since none of us really knows which God's going to be waiting for us, you better be prepared for all of them. First up is the notorious B-U-D, Buddha. You say the name, you immediately think of a religion that seems cool, but then you find yourself sitting in the lotus position with a couple of dysfunctional vegans who are only doing this because their learning annex instructor said it's a good way to meet singles. If you judge a religion on its teachings and not by the indentation its leader leaves in the sand, Buddhism may be for you. Hinduism is all about the reincarnation. I recently found out that in one of my past lives, I was a Roman transvestite. They called me Ben-Hur. Nothing? Ben-Hur, they said. Hindus have too many gods to pray to. That's the problem with them. When you want to switch, it's like changing doctors. You go to your elephant god. He has to send the old charts over to your new guy. You know how long that takes? You call up the elephant. Where's my charts? He's like, hey, I only got 2 hands. He said, I know. That's why I'm going Vishnu. He's got 11. I guess that joke would work better. I'm not an expert. If there were more than 2 hands on the Vishnu right there. There's only 4. I said 11. I was raised as a Catholic. And you can say what you want about us. People put all the blame on the priest. But when you're denied the godly pleasures of the flesh, and then a line of smooth young boys is kneeling in front of you with their mouths open, all right? That can bring out the French house music all night long in any one of us. Now, suddenly, Father Brian sashaying around the altar like Giselle Bundchen on the Milan runway. Father Flaherty's on the pipe organ blasting out, It's Raining Men. Nothing? All right. This brings us to the Jews. Everybody has an opinion on the Jews. They're like the blacks in the sense that when you choose to express that opinion, you shut the door first and lower your voice. The chosen people are guided by the teachings of the Torah and the Hollywood Reporter. Use caution around them with food. They tend to become agitated by it. The Jews are successful. They evoke a lot of anger in people, and it's still a debate whether they bring it on themselves or it's just good old-fashioned player hating. The tragedy of Israel is that if this thing goes off, they will be hit in a devastating attack that will leave their businesses, buildings, and housings decimated. The good news, they're covered for most of it. Islam is the Oakland Raiders of religion. There are many kinds of Muslims in the world: Sunnis, Shiites, and the Wahhabis. Now, not wannabes, I said Wahhabis, all right? How can I put this politely? The Wahhabis are the big newsmakers. On the positive side, the Islamics always take care of the poor. They're not materialistic as a rule, and they follow their religion closely. Hopefully not as close as the FBI follows it. But anyway, let's face it, nobody wants to stereotype a whole religion. But when you leave my church, they say, go in peace. And when you leave the mosque, they say, everybody with a knapsack, stick around. I got to talk to you about something. It's funny if you say knapsack instead of knapstack, by the way. If you're getting into comedy, we kid. But the truth is, if you want to jump on the Islamic bandwagon, just don't park it near a school. That's all I'm saying. Now, I know there are some... Wow. I know there's some fake intellectuals out there that say religion is the reason for all war. That's ridiculous. That's like blaming hip-hop for all the violence in music. Bad example. Religion is like anything else. Religion is corruptible like anybody else. In fact, like me, I'm corruptible. So send me $20 to the show, and if I die first, I'll put in a good word with you, with whoever's in charge. Thou shalt not change the channel, or I shall smite thee